2271, 2272, 2273, 2274, 2275, 2276, 2277, 2278, 2279, 2280, 2281, 2282, 283, 284, 2285, 2286, 2287, 2288, 2289, 2290, 2291, 2292, 2293, 2294, 2295, 2296, 2297, 2298, 2299, 2300, 2301, 2302, 2303, 2304, 2305, 2306, 2307, 2308, 2309, 2310, 2311, 2312, 2313, 2314, 2315, 2316, 2317, 2318, 2319, 2320, 2321, 2322, 2323, 2324, 2325, 2326, 2327, 2328, 2328, yes.
Baron Jibrin Kano North. Item 8, sorry. The severity of any penalties. I think it should be penalty. Of any penalties. It should be penalty, sir.
Yeah, noted this one. 2328, 2329, 2330, 2331, 2332, 2333, 2334, 2335, 2336, 2337, 2338, 2339, 2340, 2341, 2342. Two, 343. 2343.
This the 7% port development levy. The sharing was rejected. That it was supposed to be left out as 7% for MPA. Port development charges. It was put as agreed to. Question put and agreed to. Page 2195. Oh, okay, amended. No, I've seen. Angara. Read next one. It's corrected. I will drew my attention.
2343, 2344, 2345, 2346, 2347, 2348, 2349, 2349.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Marafa, representative for Central. I'm sorry, I'm also taking us back to the page that we have just finished, 2195, sir. We didn't agree on the 2.5% going to the customs. 2195. We maintained the status quo. They have only 7%, not 2.5%. We agreed on 1% as the industry fee. Then we knocked out the 2.5%. No, plus 17.
But this is just amendment proposed.
Okay.
All right, 2350. 2351, 2352, 2353, 2354, 2355, 2356, 2357, 2358, 2359, 2360, 2361, 2362. Senator Monsura Sumono, Oyo Central.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Monsura Sumono, representing Oyo Central Senatorial District. I hereby move that the vote and proceedings of Wednesday, the 31st of May, 2017, be adopted. I hereby move. Thank you.
Senator Gilbert Naji, Enugu East.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Gilbert Naji. I rise to second the motion that the vote and proceedings of Wednesday, 31st of May 2007 be adopted. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 31st May 2017 be hereby approved as amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Votes and proceedings on Wednesday, 31st, 2017 is hereby approved. Announcement. I wish to acknowledge the presence of members of the Law Students Association of Nigeria, University of Abuja, who are in our gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I wish them a fruitful observation of our proceedings. Please sit down. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of the report of the Joint Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity, and Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy in respect of a motion on the hike in electricity tariff by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and Distribution Companies in Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Suleiman Nazif, Chairman of the Committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Senator Nazif.
Thank you, Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues. My name is Senator Suleiman Nazif, and I represent Bauchi North. I rise to move that the Senate do receive the report of the Joint Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity and Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy in respect of a motion on the hike in electricity tariff by the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NAC, and Distribution Company, DISCOs, to be laid. I so move.
Senator Ledani.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joshua Lidani, representing Gombe South. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do receive the report of the Joint Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity and Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive the report of the Joint Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity and Power, Steel Development and Methodology in respect of a motion on the hike of electricity tariff by the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERIC, and Distribution Company, DISCOs. Those in favor that we do receive this, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Nazif, come and lead the report. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very respected colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of the Conference Committee report on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office Establishment Bill 2017. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Ranking Senator Emmanuel Polka, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Senator Polka.
Mr. President, Senator Polka Emmanuel is my name, Bayelsa Central. I rise to move the motion that the Senate do receive the conference report on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, etc., Bill 2017, SB 222. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Gobri.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Ibrahim Gobir. I second that the Senate do receive the Conference Committee report on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, EST-ETC Bill 2017. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we do receive the Conference Committee report on National Assembly Budget and Research Office, Establishment Etc. Bill 2017 SB 222. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Emmanuel Polka, come and lead the report. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on INEC on the screening of the following persons. Number one, Professor Goswill Obioma Abia, new appointment. James Yaliam Apam Benue, new appointment. Dr. Nwachukwu Oji Ebonyi, new appointment. Dr. Ilo Joseph Valentine Chuks Inugu, new appointment. Dr. Nantawe Goshwe Yulwatda Plateau, new appointment. Umar Ibrahim Taraba, new appointment. Mr. Emeka Onan Mad Joseph Imo, new appointment. Obo O Ofanga Cross River, new appointment. Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Ezionu Anambra, new appointment. Dr. Brai O Franklin Bayelsa, new appointment. Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI Adamawa, new appointment. Agboke Mitiu Olaleke Ogun, new appointment. Husseini Halilu Pai FCT, reappointment. Alhaji Ahmad Makama Bauchi, reappointment. And Sadiq Abubakar Musa Kaduna, reappointment. Distinguished senators will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Thursday, the 25th of May, 2017. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Suleiman Nazif, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Nazif.
I thank you, Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues. My name is Senator Suleiman Nazif, and I represent Bauchi North. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the screening of 15 nominees for appointment as resident electoral commissioners. I so move.
Senator Clifford Odia, Edo Central.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Clifford Odia. I rise to support the motion that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the screening of 15 nominees for appointment as resident electoral commissioners. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on INEC on the screening of 15 nominees as listed by the Senate leader for appointment as resident electoral commissioners. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Nazif, kindly present your report.
I thank you, Mr. President. My highly respected colleagues, once again, Senator Suleiman Nazif, I represent Bauchi North. The report on the Senate Committee on INEC on the screening of nominees as resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Background. The Senate, in a plenary on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017, referred to the Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the confirmation of nomination of the following persons as resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Nominees: 1. Professor Godwill Obioma, new appointment. 2. Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI, new appointment. 3. Alhaji Ahmed Makama, reappointment. 4. James Lalim Apam, new appointment. 5. Barrister Mike A. Igini, reappointment. 6. Dr. Nwachukwu Oji, new appointment. 7. Dr. Ilo Joseph Valentine Chuks, new appointment. 8. Husseini Halilupai, reappointment. 9. Sadiq Abubakar Musa, reappointment. 10. Jibrin Ibrahim Zarewa, reappointment. 11. Dr. Mrs. Asma Husani Mekudi, new appointment. 12. Dr. Mahmouda Isa, new appointment. 13. Professor Samuel G. Egu, new appointment. 14. Ambassador Dr. Rufus O. Ikeji, reappointment. 15. Professor Mustafa Zubairu, new appointment. 16. Aboke Matthew Olaleke, new appointment. 17. Sam Olugbode Olumikon MNI, reappointment. 18. Abdul Ganiu Olayinka Raji, new appointment. 19. Professor Riskua A. Shehu, new appointment. 20. Barrister Kashim Gana Gaidam, reappointment. 21. Ahmed Bello Mahmoud, new appointment. 22. Dr. Nintewe Gosho Yilwatda, new appointment. 23. Omar Ibrahim, new appointment. 24. Mr. Emeka Ononomadu Joseph, new appointment. 25. Ogbo O. Ofanga, new appointment. 26. Professor Francis Chukwu Emeka Ezenu, new appointment. 27. Dr. Baria O. Franklin, new appointment. Membership of the committee. Senator Suleiman Mohammed Nazif, chairman. Senator Olushola Ade, vice chairman. Senator, and I'll go to the methodology. The committee requested and received from the special advisor to the President on National Assembly matters the following documents of the nominees: curriculum vitae, clearance from the Department of Security Service, 3. Police report, 4. Code of conduct acknowledgement slip, 5. Other relevant certificates. Screening of the nominees. The nominee appeared before the committee on Wednesday, May 10th, Thursday, May 11, 2017, and also on Monday, May 15, 2017, for the screening in the hearing room 221, Senate Wing, National Assembly Complex. The screening of the nominee by the committee was carried out in batches. Findings. In line with the provision of Section 14.1 and Section 14.3a of the third schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, the committee studied the curriculum vitae of the nominees alongside other relevant documents and subsequently invited them in person for the screening. The findings of the committee on the nominees are as follows. Observation. 27 nominees referred to the committee for screening were cleared by the relevant security agencies, the police, the Department of Security Service, and Code of Conduct Bureau. Recommendation. After a thorough scrutiny of all the relevant documents of the nominees, members of the committee were satisfied with the qualification, experience, and suitability of 15 nominees in the first batch, while the remaining 12 nominees are still undergoing screening by the committee. Therefore, the committee recommends that the Senate do confirm the appointment of 1. Professor Godwill Obioma, 2. James Lalom Apam, 3. Dr. Nwachukwu Oji, 4. Dr. Ilo Joseph Valentine Chuks, 5. Dr. Nentawe Goshwe Yelwatda, 6. Umar Ibrahim, 7. Mr. Emeka Ononomadu Joseph, 8. Obo M. Efanga, 9. Professor Francis Chukwu Emeka Ezenu, 10. Dr. Baria O. Franklin, 11. Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI, 12. Agboke Matthew Oladeke, 13. Usaini Halilupai, 14. Alhaji Ahmed Makama, and 15. Sadiq Abubakar Musa. As President, Commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Subsequently, the committee will forward the names of the remaining 12 nominees to the Senate for confirmation. We so recommend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any comments or before to leader, let's move to committee also to consider the report. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished and respected colleagues, I move that the Senate resolves into committee of the court to consider the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the leader that the Senate should resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that will resolve to committee of the whole to consider the report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. All right, distinguished colleagues, any comments? If not, we just go to the approval one by one. All right, then. So we take the first one then. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Godswill Obioma for appointment as Resident Commissioner for Independent Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of James Loleam Apam for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Nwachukwu Oji for appointment as Resident Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Ilio Joseph Valentine Chuks for appointment as Resident Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Netwa Goshwe Yulwatada for appointment as Resident Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Umar Ibrahim for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Emeka Namadu Joseph for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Obo Afanga for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Izeonu for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Brea O. Franklin for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Agbokemuchi Olaleke for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Hussaini Aliyu Pai for appointment as Resident Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Alhaji Ahmed Makama for appointment? Approve the nomination of Alhaji Ahmed Makama for appointment as Resident Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Sadiq Abubakar Musa for appointment as resident commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
What is the problem? Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. I move that the Senate reverse to plenary for the child to report progress. What is going on? I didn't. Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the leader that the chair gleefully reports progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we revert back to plenary report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointments as Resident Electoral Commission and approved the nomination of Professor Godswill Obioma, Abia, new appointment, James Ilolam Apam, Benue, new appointment, Dr. Wachuku Oji, Ebonyi, new appointment, Dr. Ilo Joseph Valentine Chuks, Enugu, new appointment, Dr. Natawa Goshwe Yilwatada Plateau, new appointment, Umar Ibrahim Taraba, new appointment, Dr. Emeka Ononamadu Joseph Imo, new appointment, Obo Efanga Cross River, new appointment, Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Zenu Anambra, new appointment, Dr. Brie O. Franklin Bayelsa, new appointment, Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI Adama, new appointment, Okay, Muchi Olaleki Ogun, new appointment, Hussein Aliu Pai FCT, new appointment, Alhaji Ahmed Bakama Bauchi, reappointment, Sadiq Abubakar Musa Kaduna, reappointment as resident commissioner. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? I now put the question for confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Godswill Obioma for appointment as resident commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Godswill Obioma is hereby confirmed as resident commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of James Apam for appointment as resident commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of James Apam is hereby confirmed as resident commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination? Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Nwachuku Oji for appointment as resident commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Nwachuku Oji is hereby confirmed as resident commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the appointment of Dr. Valentine Chuks for appointment as resident commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Valentine Chuks is hereby confirmed as resident commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Yilwatada for appointment as resident commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Ilwatada is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Umar Ibrahim for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Umar Ibrahim is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Emeka Joseph for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Emeka Joseph is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nominations of Obo Efanga for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Obo Efanga is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Ezonu for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Ezonu is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Briere Franklin for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Francis Chukwuemeka Ezonu is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Briere O. Franklin for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Briere O. Franklin is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Olaleke for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Olaleke is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Pai for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Pai is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Alhaji Ahmed Makama for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Alhaji Ahmed Makama is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Sadiq Abubakar Musa for appointment as Resident Commissioner for INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Sadiq Abubakar Musa is hereby confirmed as Resident Commissioner for INEC. On behalf of all of us here, congratulate the new nominees as Resident Commissioners for INEC, and hope that we wish them a very successful tenure. They're coming at a very important time to complement the work already being led by the current chairman, and to guide us into the certain new reforms that we have put about by the amendment of the INEC, and hope that they'll be able to do that successfully so that we can continue to improve on our electoral processes. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Works on the Federal Roads Authority Establishment Bill 2017. Distinguished senators will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Wednesday, 3rd May 2017. Mr. President, we wish to invite very distinguished Senator Kabir Gaya, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Kabir Gaya.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Kabir Gaya from the people of Kano South, from Kano State. Mr. President, from your permission, I would like to move a motion to move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Works on Federal Road Authority Bill, ECC Bill 217, SB 219. I so move.
Senator Aidoko.
Thank you, Mr. President. My highly respected colleagues, my name is Senator Atai Aidoko Ali. I represent Kogi East. Mr. President, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Kabiru Gayat that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Works on Federal Roads Authority Establishment, etc. Bill 2017. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we do consider the report of the Committee of Works on Federal Roads Authority Establishment, etc. Bill 2017, SB 219. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Kabiru, present your report.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, thank you for giving me the opportunity. And that our committee said the Senate at its sitting on Wednesday 6 March and the 9th November 2016 read the first and second time a bill for the Act to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Act 2007 and to reenact Federal Road Authority Bill FRA 2017 and for other matters connected therewith. It was therefore the part of the Committee on Works for further legislative action. Mr. President, I'll just go straight to some few points. The Federal Road Network is by far the largest and the most valuable single public infrastructure asset owned by the Federal Government of Nigeria. It is held by the Federal Government in the name of the people of Nigeria. A publicly owned national asset that has such key strategic, economic, security, development, and social cohesion roles. It is also proper that this highest level oversight role be held in the name of the government and delegated by legislation to a parastatal or independent public body or independent public, hence the need to establish a federal authority with oversight by the ministry. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the road sector reform and the search for a more effective federal road asset management mechanism and the federal road governance structure has been a subject of much work and attention in Nigeria. The final recommendation is well documented and consistent. It will build on both emerging international best practice and emerging trends and the capacity from within Nigeria and included international study towards a local stakeholders consultation. The federal government, sir, for the federal government intentions on road reform sector started since 1970. And I can recall that the federal government under the leadership of head of state Gawan set up a panel to review the functions and mandate of Federal Ministry of Works in terms of effectiveness as executing agencies, recognizing need to separate policy function from execution function. The Federal Highway Authority was recommended, but it was never implemented during the Gawan regime. Also during Babangida regime, the Council of Ministers approved creation of Federal Highway Authority in principles, but it was never established. Also in 1990, another reform for the road sector was proposed following IP recommendation, but it was never actualized. When Obasanjo came into power in 2000, from 1999 to 2000, a road vision 2000 was articulated, a roadmap to establish a national road board, create a national road fund, establish an executing agencies in bracket Federal Highway Authority, and encourage principal participation, private participation through concession or BOT projects. It was accepted by the government, but never implemented. In 2002, Mr. President, road conditions continued to deteriorate. Government reacted by creating FEMA to address the road maintenance issue. In 2004, workshop convened in attempt to activate the road vision again. In 2006, Council of Works convened in Owerri called the federal government to create a federal road authority. It was never done. During the late President Eradua's time, in 2007, the President approved the creation of a federal road authority, but it was not established because there was no legislation setting it up. Mr. President, in 2011, during Jonathan administration, Honorable Minister of Transport set up a committee for road sector reform to actualize or implementation of the road reform sector. Stakeholder consultation and national study tour were conducted and the report submitted, but it was never implemented. Mr. President, I would like to appeal to Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, the leadership, and the senators to please make history and make sure and appeal to you to pass this bill, because this bill has waited for 47 years. And I can tell you that, Mr. President, many countries in the world, like United Kingdom, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, and many other countries, have two key legislations. One, the FRA, Federal Authority, and Federal Road Fund. So, Mr. President, therefore, however, the road sector requires a more robust governance and institutional framework that will enhance the work of FEMA interagency that will be charged with not only road maintenance, but road construction, road rehabilitation, road network planning, and technical regulations. Therefore, statutory functions, rights, interests, obligations, and liabilities of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency and the Department of the Ministry responsible for construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of federal roads before the commencement of this bill under any contract, right of way, concession, or instrument that by virtue of this bill be deemed to have been assigned or transferred or vested in the Federal Road Authority. Mr. President, the bill is divided into the following. I will just go through because of the volume of the bill. The bill is divided into the following parts. Part 1 talks of objectives and applications. Part 2 talks of establishment of Federal Authority, establishment of the Federal Authority, governing board of the authority, appointment and qualification of the board members, tenure and removal for office of the board members, function of the board, construction of the office, and evaluation. Part 3 starts with the authority, appointment and removal of the managing director, secretary, and other staff of the authority. If you go to page 7 of the report, it says the objective of the road sector reform proposed in the bill aim to move away from legal governance structures and clearly establish: A, the ministry's role and responsibilities to determine, communicate, and implement policy set strategic objectives. 2, highway authorities with the delegated role of asset owner and manager to manage the construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of the network and assure technical standards. C, the private sector being the provider of civil works and asset management services, and hopefully to finance partner in road infrastructure through concession and PPP arrangement. And, Mr. President, my dear colleagues, the road fund is an off-budget mechanism to collect, allocate, user drive levies and charges that supplement the national government funding obligation to road maintenance to the point of sustainable sufficiency. Mr. President, I'm just rushing to get, because the bill is slide. Let's go to page 9. The key functions of the Federal Road Authority bill. 1 is the road asset ownership and management. The Federal Road Authority shall be the regulatory and asset owner, stroke manager of Nigerian Federal Roads network and assets. The powers of the authority shall therefore include the requirement to develop a road management system, RMS. Number 2, road construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance. The authority shall facilitate private sector development and promotion of an enable environment for the private sector in road sector, while the core function of FRA is to manage the federal road assets. It is pertinent to address the modalities of construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance works by the authority. Number 3, it is accepted that the planning approach to be adopted by the FRA should not only meet with current standards and conventions in the road sector in Nigeria, international best practice and desirable monitoring, evaluation, and innovation, MEI, as well as current administrative regulations, but must also ensure that the resultant plans and reports will determine if the activities and expenditure of the FRA delivers the requirement. The roads are safe and efficient, Mr. President. Then to the recommendation, the committee, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues, hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency 2007 as amended, and the Federal Highway Act 1971, and the Control of Advertisement Federal Highway Act 1986, and to reenact the Federal Road Authority Bill and other matters connected here. Mr. President, I would like, on behalf of myself and the members of this committee, who have worked very hard, and I thank them for the support, and thank also Mr. President of the Senate, President Bukola Saraki, and the leadership of the Senate and all members of the Senate for giving us this opportunity to serve in this capacity. It is our hope that this legislation will contribute positively to the economic growth of the nation and impact positively on the lives of Nigerians and deliver a road sector that will be a model for another countries to adopt by God's grace. Mr. President, also looking at the bill is about 219 pages, but we have divided into the main bill itself is only 122 pages. From page 1 to 122 is the main bill. From page 123 to 154, which is part of the other bills which we enclose, we put them in the main bill. They are discussed on the issue of land acquisition, damaged road and assets, offenses by the road users. From page 155 to 170, we only talk of the Federal Road Gazettes, the roads that have been gazetted. In 1971, page 171 to 219 are the excellent laws that have been repealed. So honestly, all our discussions will be based on from page 1 to 122, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us the opportunity.
Any comments before we move to Committee of the Whole and to do close by close? Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider this report as so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that will resolve to Committee of the Whole to consider the bill close by close, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, we have here 29 clauses. Yes, I think we just need to get this properly ordered, then we can start, yeah. A few more minutes, I'll just be with you. All right, distinguished colleagues. We have 34 clauses. 34, well, for short title 35. Okay. So, page 1, clause 1. Clause 1. Clause 1. Those in favor that clause 1A, B, and C stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 1D. 1D. Those in favor that clause 1D stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 1E. 1E, page 2. 1E on page 2. Those in favor that 1E on page 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Yes, clause 2, Senator Manja.
From the chairman, because clause 2 is establishing a board. I just want to know if this will be the only board for works, because after this there's another bill that is coming, the road fund. Is that also establishing another board so that we have only one board for the works? I just want a clarification, sir.
Yeah, Mr. President, this board, there is a clause, if you look at it there in the bill, which clearly said that this board is only for federal authority, while there's a separate bill which is coming up for federal road funds, and therefore you cannot be a member of both the two places. It is already stated in the report or in the bill. Thank you.
The clause on the issue of the board comes in clause 4. So, yeah. No, that's true. If you look at the new clause now, application. Okay. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3 on page 4. Yes.
Sorry, my chairman, Senator Mao Wabunwabia not. Why I'm asking this question is that we have a different bill, road funding. Then this one is for road agency. But if you look at that application, it says the provision of this act shall apply to the development, funding, management, administration of federal roads in Nigeria. I'm only looking at the funding. Since we are having a different bill for funding, why will funding also be applied here? Explain, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. I will explain, sir. You see, the Federal Road Authority, on its own system, if you look at it, they generate also fund. So it is from the fund they generate within the board is what they are going to utilize. There is a separate funding by Federal Road Fund, by road funds, and these funds will be given to Federal Road Authority. But this one is money they generate. But this money they generate only. So that's why you have the fund there.
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chairman, sir, you see, we, in a country like this, from experience, when there is overlapping functions and responsibilities, you see everybody trying to outsmart one another. If it is not clear from the provisions of the law, and that's the reason why, as lawmakers, from this very beginning, it is better for us to make it very clear. So these are the functions of this particular group. These are the functions of this particular. Otherwise, you see them trying to outsmart one another. In the process, effectiveness becomes a problem. I think for everything about the road, because of our own experience, very peculiar, not so good an experience, it is better for us to get this right. Now that we have another road act, this is very important, sir. From the explanation of the chairman, it's not yet clear, sir.
Chairman, I think you need to clarify this area. The question I think being asked is this. The road fund will have its own source of funding. And that funding, will the road fund also be implementing the road maintenance? Or is the road fund just an agency to gather funding for the implementation of the road authority? Or will both the road fund and the road agency both be carrying out maintenance of federal roads. I think that's the point that needs clarification.
Mr. President, the road fund is mainly to get funds. They don't do maintenance. They generate funds and distribute to the federal authority and other agencies. So they don't do works. So, and the fund we are talking here is just an internal funding they generated. That's why we put fund.
I think that's the point that needs to be clear. I think that's the point. Before your explanation, I think the area of confusion was that whether both the road fund and the road authority will both be carrying out maintenance. So based on your explanation, what you are saying as the road fund is purely just to gather fund and then fund onto other agencies on regards maintenance. Yes? Okay, I think that is clearer now. Yes, Senator Ahmed.
Mr. Chairman, I think with his explanation, then the word funding here should be removed because it says funding and management and administration of federal roads in Nigeria. Federal roads. So we should remove the funding because the other agency is expected to generate these funds.
Generate, and that this agency too can generate as well, funding. Yeah. All right, distinguished colleagues. Yes, Senator Lashadra.
Mr. Chairman, sir, it's just a general comment before we move further, sir. If you look at page 2, sir, we have 1A, B, C, D, which has been approved, But if you look at what we have there that has not been removed, we still have the agency shall be a body corporate. Are all those ones gone? We should know because to me these are new additions, but are the ones that we have on the left gone or they are still part of this bill?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Be guided by the column on the right. Okay. All right. We're now on page 4, clause 3. Yeah, we have approved that. I'll put the question. We have approved too. It came in after we had approved it. Yeah. There's no amendment. No, the funding stays. The funding stays. The funding, because they raised money themselves. What Senator Manager came up with, which was valid, was that this agency and the road fund are they both going to be carrying out maintenance of roads? And Senator Guy is saying that no, this is the only agency that will carry out maintenance. The road fund is just to raise money that will pass on to this. Okay. All right, page 4, clause 3. Yes, page 4. Yes, Senator Sumon.
Since this is going to be a new established body, I think that it should read, there is an established body, and not there is established a body, but there is an established body to be known as the Federal Roads Authority in this act. No. Yeah? Yeah, because it has not been established.
I think this is fine, in a sense. This is fine, I think. Yes, Senator McKenna.
Mr. Chairman and the distinguished colleagues, thank you. I'm confused about this road fund and the maintenance. Is it not going to create a problem when there is road fund different from the maintenance? Because when they collect money, before they transmit the money to the maintenance, it's going to be like what we are having now. Why not?
It's been done. It's been taken care of.
No.
It's been taken care of.
Yeah, Deputy Senate President.
Following what Senator Simon said, I think there's a word missing in that word. There is hereby. There is hereby established. Don't put the word hereby. Then it makes a better sense. Yeah, there's hereby established. Listen.
Okay, Simon, we've taken note of your. We'll put there's hereby established. I think that's satisfied. Yes. All right. Yeah, so I guess you second DSP's amendment. Yes? Okay. So those in favor of clause 3.1 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 3.2 and 3, clause 3.2, 3.3 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, that's right, clause 3.
Man, I was thinking that the headquarters of the authority shall be situated in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and the authority may, instead of may, we say shall establish and maintain operational offices in the states of the Federation, and may establish and maintain base camps in the other parts of the Federation for the purpose of management of federal roads. I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
Page 5 plus 3. No, for the state I was thinking shall, but for the others shall be made.
Then they have broken the law.
Page 6, clause 4. Yes, DSP.
So clause 4, B, yes. 4, 2B, 6 non-executive members from the private sector who shall possess professional experience relevant to the sector. One person to be selected. I think the word selection should be changed to appointed.
Yeah, okay.
Appointed.
To that. Yes, Deputy Leader. All right. They are calling the amendment. All right, thank you. English colleagues, those in favor that clause 4A stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. 4A, are you on 4A? All right, 4A, yes.
We have made. We have not spelled out who is the appointing authority. It's not written anywhere in the section. Where? That's further down.
Decision colleagues, those in favor that clause 3.2A. Sorry, those in favor that clause 4A stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 4B as amended, has been proposed as amended, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4C. Clause 462, yes, Senator Ashafa.
Senator Benga Ashafa, representing Lagos Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would like to ask the chairman why Ministry of Transport, representative of Federal Ministry of Transport, is not included in the new regime. I think for synergy, the representative of transport, we are discussing about road, Federal Road Authority. I think the representative of transport, Ministry of Transport, should be part of those to form the working group. Yes. Thank you.
Chairman.
Mr. President, this initial bill, it was created when there was Ministry of Works and Transport. That's why they said Ministry of Transport. Ministry of Transport now is dealing with other transport systems. So that's why we didn't include it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
You see, when you have too many ministries on boards, you keep on having problems. You're having too many ministers, authorities, ministers from this side, and minister on that side. And that's why we said the Ministry of Works is the one in charge of roads. Let's leave that to that. Otherwise, somebody will say we should include aviation. Yeah. No, some people say we should include aviation into it.
Distinguished colleagues, I think we should, the only way authorities like this can work is when the bureaucracy is less. The more bureaucracy we put on it, the less, we are trying to make them efficient. So I think that once they have a ministry who's in charge of road that is present, I don't see anything else. Those in favor that, yeah. Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor, Secretariat, take note of that correction. Those in favor that clause 4C, clause 42C stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 42D. Those in favor that clause 42D stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 42E stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 43. Those in favor that clause 43 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 44 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 5. Clause 5 on page 8. Clause 5(1). Those in favor that clause 5(1) stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 5(2). Yes, 5(2). Deputy Senate President.
The 5(2) said the chairman and members of the board, other than the managing director and the two executive directors, shall be persons of proven integrity, recognized expert knowledge. So what it means that the other one should not be of integrity.
Well, I think that is.
I think we just remove the other than. Just remove the other than, then so that others will have the same qualification.
Okay. Other word was other.
All right. Who's somebody seconding that amendment? Sir? Yeah, thanks, Senator James Manager. Which colleagues, those in favor that 5(2) as amended, that is, the chairman and members of the board, the managing director, and the two executives are persons of proven integrity, recognized expert knowledge. Those in favor that 5(2) as amended stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. What about 5(3)? You need to correct 5(3) then. Is 5(3) referring to every member or just the chairman and the managing director? Yeah? These three, is it for just chairman, managing director, executive, or it's for every board member?
Sir, this position is for those who are appointed by the executive on this aspect, because they are the ones that are running the system. They have to be qualified for that purpose. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So 3 refers to what? 5.3 there refers to every member of the board, or just the managing director and the executive director? Okay, managing director, it is. Senator Magnus.
I think that carefully looking at this section and what it has proposed, it is clearly meant for every member of the board. And if you look at the area that is covered, it is wide enough that every geopolitical zone can find somebody with these qualifications to sit on the board. So I don't think that going back to limit the qualification of other members makes any sense. We can find a good lawyer from everywhere. We can find engineers, accountants, economists, everybody from every part of Nigeria. So I think the thing should just apply to everybody, and let us leave going back to segment it again.
Right.
It's okay, but that means we still have to add some words to 3 for it to make sense. Because as it's standing now, it doesn't make sense. So we have to say that the chairman and other members of the board shall have requisite qualifications. Then it will go further down. Because I can't stand alone the way it is now, because it doesn't synchronize with the one up and down.
Excuse me, sir. Senator Mao. What I'm saying, he's another, but if you look at the heading already, it says appointment and qualification of a board member. Which one? No, what I'm saying is that 3 is derived from the heading. If you go, it said appointment and qualification of a board member, which is in line with what... Okay.
The only word that is omitted here, flowing from the amendment that we have proposed, for which we have approved, is that appointment and qualifications of the managing director and board members. Once you put the managing director from the very beginning, then that captures the whole, because from the managing director, from that particular provision, it now takes care of all other provisions. Maybe the chairman. Yes. From the chairman. Yes. That heading. Once you capture it, because the heading right now, as it stands, appointment and qualification of board members. But once you put in the chairman and the managing director, then that captures everything. Yes. It doesn't flow?
Yes, Senator Mao, come back again.
Mr. Chairman, what I'm saying is that we don't have to look at this disjointedly, because we are talking of clause 5. That is the heading. And these ones are sub. Clause 5.1, clause 5.2. So they derive from clause 5. And clause 5 says appointment and qualification of a board member, which means every board member, like Magnus said, from chairman to executive directors. So they now went ahead to say, if you look at 5.1, it said the chairman and other members of the board, you remember I said other than, which we removed, isn't it? We removed other than. It says shall be. There is an appointment of part-time basis that qualifications, the chairman and members, other than, we remove other than, shall be persons of proven integrity, recognized expert knowledge, requisite qualification, and with not less than 10 years cognate professional experience in one of the more of the following fields. They enumerated the fields. So all I'm saying is that if it was different, what they said, repeating is fine. But deriving from 5, because what we are passing is 5. So all I'm saying is that 5 has defined what we think. I think that's...
But there is a provision of clause...
JSP.
So I think the problem here is the style of the drafting. If they started with, say, if the thing has started with the chairman and other members share, then you put 1, 2, 3. But 1 is standalone. It talks about the non-executive directors and everything. Then 2 talks about the integrity. Then the third one talks about the qualifications. So they're all standalone clauses. So either you draft the whole thing, or if you want Otherwise, what we need to do is to only to the draft 3, which I said that the chairman and other members of the board shall have requisite qualifications and the deal will now flow. Let us take care of it.
Yeah. All right, so 3, the chairman and members of the board shall have requisite qualification and with no less than 10 years. Okay. Those in favor of 3, as amended, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6 on page 10. Yes, and Dabi.
The way this clause 6 reads now, to me, it appears that other members of the board can hold office for more than 8 years, but only the executive directors are limited in their tenure. Is that the intendment of the Act? I would have thought that if we are limiting the tenure of office of the board, everybody should do a maximum of 8 years and move on, so that fresh faces can come. It says a member of the board other than the managing director and the 2 executive directors shall hold office for a term of 4 years in the first instance and may be reappointed for a further term of 4 years and no more. That implies that those that are non-executive can continue to stay on ad infinitum.
Sir, if you go to my distinguished colleagues, if you go to page 15, sorry, my distinguished colleagues, if you go to page 15, it clearly states the appointment of the managing director. You know why we made, sir? Yeah. Does. Yeah. Sorry.
And the executive director in this clause, we can just say that a non-executive member of the board, shall hold office. Yeah, and then when you go to page 15, you address the issue of the MD and the executive director. I think that is fine. All right, so if I take that Magnus has made that amendment, so 6.1 to read a non-executive member of the board shall hold, so you cancel the other than the managing director and the 2 executive directors. All right? Okay. Those in favor of clause 6.1 as amended, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 6.1a to E stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 7 on page 12. Of the board. Those in favor that clause 7 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 8 on page 13. Those in favor that clause 8 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 9 on page 14. Those in favor that clause 9 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against. Huh? Yep.
I think this emolument is inelegantly drafted, with due respect. The chairman and members of the board shall be paid such allowances or other incidental expenses as may from time to time be approved by the government in accordance with the provisions of the existing law and regulations. Yes, sir. That's the amendment, sir.
You just add the word there.
Yes. Are you with us, sir? Yes. Yes.
It's not.
Sir, the main provision says the chairman and members of the board shall be paid such allowances or incidental expenses as the government may from time to time approve. It doesn't look this thing. So I said it can be redrafted to say the chairman and members of the board shall be paid such allowances or other incidental expenses as may from time to time be approved by the government in accordance with the provisions of the existing laws and regulations. Yes, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that clause 9 as amended stands part of bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Page 12, clause 10. Clause 10, yes, Deputy Senate President.
Concern appointment of the managing director and executive directors. There shall be appointed for the authority a managing director to be appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister, subject to confirmation by the Senate. I think the first appointed is unnecessary. It's an unnecessary repetition. I think you should read, there shall be for the authority a managing director to be appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister, subject to the confirmation. So we need to remove the first appointed so that it will make sense.
Any seconder to that? Yes, Deputy Leader, thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that clause 10.1 as amended stands part of bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Senator Jibril.
Honorable Jibril, sir. 3, clause 10.3 says the managing director or executive director. Okay, sorry.
Clause 10.2 A to F. Those in favor of that clause 10.2 A to F. Are we good? Are we there? A to F on page 16. Those in favor of clause 10.2 A to E stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 10.2F. Yes, Senator Marafa.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. F, a person who possesses adequate professional qualifications, skills and experience with a minimum of a degree or its equivalent in civil engineering. Because if we leave it at degree, it will exclude HND holders. F, skills and experience with a minimum of a degree, yes, or its, yes, in civil engineering, or its equivalent, registered by Koren. This needs to be looked at properly. Yes, it needs to be redrafted because it will exclude HND holders and it will not be.
No, we should not change it.
No, we have to.
Yes.
No. To them you don't Korean case. Yes, sir.
Chairman.
Sir, the tradition of the organization from day one, it deals with road, and that you need a civil engineer in that profession. So if you have, like in architecture, if you have diploma in architecture, you are not a degree holder of architecture or master's architecture, it makes a difference. So, Mr. President, that is the tradition in this aspect. We have degree holders in this aspect who are quorum members, 10 years experience minimum. But if the Senate want to make amendment, fine. Quorum, that's what I don't know. That's what I don't know. I don't want to say yes. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. The argument as advanced by the chairman is not tenable and it doesn't hold water. Because the mere fact that you own a degree does not make you any better than anybody. It is just a matter of tyranny of the older generations. Yes, I'm telling you. There
must be a minimum standard.
University graduates happens to be at the head of this thing. And when they come over, they make it exclusively their right. But that does not make a HND holder, any lesser than anybody with a degree. I know a lot of HND holders that are better architects than those with university degrees. I know a lot of them, yes.
They don't remove current.
Yes, Senator Jibril.
Mr. Chairman, I support the position canvassed by Senator Marafa, and so I second the amendment as put forward by Senator Marafa that HND holders should also be given the opportunity to serve on this board.
There's no, let me put the question. Yeah.
I think this is a law. This word current needs to be fully expressed. Let us know what it means. You can't write current in a law. Yeah? You say so, tell us what it is so that I write it. It's not current. There's nothing like current. So it should be. Tell us what it is.
Yes, Mr. President. Current says current is Council of Registered Engineers. Current is Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria. And then we can put current in brackets. Secretary can take note of that. But what about the equivalent? My vice. Vice.
Can I read what you have? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, this is Senator Clifford Odia. Let me say here that for you to be a full-fledged engineer, you have to be registered by current. And for HND holders, they are not registered as engineers. They are registered as technologists. That is the law right now. That's the rule right now. That is what it is.
And you are not changing it.
And we cannot change it.
Yes, that is.
A technologist is a technologist. An engineer is an engineer. And when we are taking an engineering decision, you must be a registered engineer. So it's not a tea party, something.
Distinguished colleagues, I'm going to put the question, but before I put the question, I think we need to be guided by those that are in the profession. I think we need to be guided. No. I think we need to be guided by those who are in the profession. Senator Gobri.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. There is fundamental difference between HND and the BSc in engineering. A HND is registered as engineering technologist, not an engineer. And this job is for the engineers. And therefore, I support this one. We should not change it. That is exactly what it is.
All right. Okay. No problem. No. Let's put the question. Well, put the question. Now, those in favor that
Senator Malafab, order please, order please, order please. This is Nigerian Senate. Order please, order please. Thank you, my colleagues.
Chief Whip, for distinguished colleagues, let's put the question. Those in favor that clause 210(2)(f) as amended, that is to add civil engineer or its equivalent. No. Okay. Registered and registered by Corinne. Those who are in favor of the amendment that civil engineer or his equivalent, registered by Corinne, should stand part of the bill. Say aye. Those against, let's make progress now. This is simple. Those who favor that 2F, 10-2F, that is to put the word as equivalent. Those in favor of that say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Chicken now. 10-3. 10-3.
Order, please. Order, please. The Senate has voted. Order, please. Order, please. Order, please.
Equivalent. You cannot come. You
put the first one, you refuse to say yes.
Senator Marafa, you're a Democrat. We are put you to vote. Progress, please, progress. Progress, 10-3. 10-3. 10-3. 10-3. Yes, Senator Lidani.
10-3, sir. 10-3. 10-3, sir. It just makes provision for appointment. It doesn't say who is to appoint. So I would suggest that we amend it by saying there shall be appointed for the executive, for the authority, 2 executive directors to be appointed by the president. Because it doesn't say who is to appoint. There shall be appointed by the president 2 executive directors. Because in the provision for MD, there is a provision for the president to appoint the managing director. But there is no provision for who is to appoint the 2 executive directors. So I suggest that we say there shall be appointed by the president for the authority 2 executive directors.
Distinguished colleagues, there's an amendment being proposed by Senator Lidani which we need to address. On page 17, 3, it said there shall be appointed for the authority. It does not say the authority who is to burn. So he's making a recommendation, just like we did on page 15, to say there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors to assist the managing director in the performance of his function under this bill, to be appointed by Mr. President on the recommendation of the minister. Does that need to come again to the Senate, the executive? No. So we'll stop at the minister there. Yes? Can I get a seconder to that? Yes, Senator Webwan, thank you. The question, those in favor of that clause 10.3 as amended, that is to read, an executive director shall be, there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors to assist the managing director in the performance of his functions under this bill, to be appointed by Mr. President on the recommendation of the minister. Those in favor of 10.3 as amended to stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 10.3 A, B, and C. Okay, for which one? Okay, let me take A and B then. Those in favor that 10, 3A and B stands part of the bill, say aye. Is that for C or which one? B, okay, B then. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Peter Wombush, representing Delta North. B, responsible to the managing director and perform such functions as may from time to time be assigned to him by the managing director. Mr. President, there is no specific function here for an executive, for the two executive directors. And if you say the directors report are responsible to the managing director, not responsible to the authority, means that this is an avenue for conflict and clash. It means that if the managing director doesn't like you or any one of them, he can decide to make them he can decide to make them redundant. That the functions of these two directors ought to be specified. Mr. President, drawing from other laws we have seen, if you say he's executive director, executive director what? What is he executive director for?
Mr. President, in the board of like FEMA or FRA, there are two major directors. Director Engineering and Director Admin and Finance. These are the two major directors. So therefore, it's been classified and they are to work together with the MD. We have a problem, which that's why we changed the tenure for the management of these three directors, like we have this year. The last government left, and when this government came, they dissolved all the managing directors. And now in FEMA, from the MD up to all the directors, they're all acting. The MD is acting, the directors are all acting. So that's why we had problems in FEMA. Last year, there were no performance. Also, it was zero performance on the budget. So with this experience, we try to change the timing, the years. So that even if a new government comes, at least the managing director can continue for 1 year before the appointment. So the functions are executive director, engineering, and director, finance, and admin. So, okay.
Yeah, amendment.
These executive directors, if we leave this section like this, they will end up as mere personal assistants to the MD. And the problem we have gone through to set out these positions will be lost. I therefore propose the following amendment. B, there shall be an executive director in charge of operations and an executive director in charge of finance and administration. Engineering operations, and then an executive director in charge of finance and administration.
Engineering and operations.
Yes, engineering and operations.
Finance and administration.
Yes.
Admin and finance.
And the, yes, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, yes, observations into the.
My name is Senator Dada. Mr. Chairman, sir, in any corporate organization, the managing director functions, it will assign function for directors. It's part of the organogram. The organogram is specified the type of function they are having. In the banking system, you have finance, admin, and the rest. But engineering sections, they are so wide that the organogram will guide the appointment of who the function is going to do. That's where I put it.
Before the question, sir. So I have a problem with number of years for the executive directors as well as the MD. Because when they are appointed for 5 years, there will be a time, okay, maybe should we wait? Okay. Okay, it's 5 years, yes. The time will come when all of them will have to go. And there will be no institutional leadership or management memory in that respect. So I would suggest that we reduce the number of years for the executive directors to 4, so that the MD is still there when new executive directors will join him, and they continue.
Chairman, you want to explain?
So this issue, we deliberated for long on this matter, and we agreed based on the experience we have presently. And the best way is let that place be running. We should not create a vacuum in that organization, because it's dealing with roads all over 34,000 kilometers of roads in Nigeria. And you suddenly bring a new person. There should be something like yeah, so that at least when this new government, even if a new government comes, at least this have 1 year to go with whoever they appoint.
Transitional arrangement.
I think it should be proper to have this transitional arrangement. So that's why we agreed. Huh? I'm supporting that it should be 5 years for the managing director and the 2 executives, then 4 years for the board members. As usual, any government that can change the board members and the chairman.
Yes,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Aliu Sabi. This same clause we are amending, I think we have to look at the numbering, because it was couched in such a way that we have made an amendment that we must also look at that. The initial one is an executive director shall be. Then we have those things following. So with what we have amended now, I think where we are saying there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors should now have, that is 3-1. Then the next one, where we have an executive director shall be, will now come down so that it will now start carrying 2, then A, B going down. If we do that, then we'll be getting it correctly based on the amendments we have made. Are you with me? Yes, I know, but what I'm saying is that it will now be 1, should now read, there shall be for the authority, that first amendment we have made. Then 2, we will now have an executive director shall be, then we'll have A, appointed on such terms, and then all the other ones follow. Okay.
Yeah, GSP.
I think there is sense in what you say, but maybe it's mixing it up, sir. Because if you leave it the way it is, it will be disjointed. So what I would recommend, following his suggestion, is that 3 will now read, there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors who will now have A, shall be appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister. B, now A now will now be B. Then B will be C, and C will be D. Then it will make sense. That is, 3 will now read, there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors who then will now start numbering 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D. Because the way it is now, as he said, an executive director shall be, then you have again, there shall be an appointed for the authority. It doesn't make sense. So it needs to be redrafted completely. So the way to redraft it is to start by saying there shall be for the 2, there shall be for authority 2 executive directors who then have A, that is 3A, appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister. 2, appointed on such terms, that should be B now. C, responsible to the managing director, and then D. Instead of C will now become D, a person who possesses so and so qualification.
But the fact that there will be ED engineering operations and ED finance and admin,
that's another kettle of fish, but first of all, we need to get between ecological so it will make sense. Because the way it is, it doesn't make sense.
That in order to clarify the B, existing B, you know, just the B, that the idea that the B was so vague that that's what led us to clarifying the functions. So maybe what we can do then is to have 3 A being the appointment and B being the tenure. And then we stop there. Then we have a 3-2 or something that says that there shall be an ED in charge of engineering operation, and an ED in charge of finance and admin, responsible to the managing director. And full stop. Okay, let me read that and see whether that flows. Distinguished colleagues, so what we are proposing now, 3 will read as follows. 3A shall be, it shall read, before 3A, there shall be for the authority 2 executive directors who shall be appointed by Mr. President on the recommendation of the minister. A. B. Appointed on such terms and conditions been specified in his letter of appointment for a term of 5 years in the first instance and may be reappointed for a further 5 years and no more. Full stop. Then C. There shall be executive director in charge of engineering operations and executive director in charge of. So that's what I'm saying, that we stop there, then we down take 3.2. There shall be an executive director in charge of engineering and operations and an executive director in charge of finance and admin, responsible to the managing director. Full stop. Yes, does that? Okay, can I put that, yeah.
Mr. President, I would like to amend that instead of engineering and operations, should be engineering and construction. Because operation is not part of our nomenclature, really. Engineering and construction, rather than engineering and operations. No, engineering and construction. Because engineering, it has to do with the designs, while construction has to do with engineering. No. Construction is engineering. No.
Sir, the engineering covers construction. Engineering is construction. So you leave it as engineering and operations. Yes, sir.
All right, colleague, let me put the question then. Those in favor of clause 10.3 be amended as follows. There shall be for the authority 2 executive directors. A, who shall be appointed by Mr. President on the recommendation of recommendation of the minister. B, on appointment of such terms and conditions as may be specified in his letter of appointment for a term of 5 years in the first instance, and may be reappointed for the other term of 5 years and no more. 3.2, there shall be an executive director in charge of engineering and operations and an executive director in charge of finance and admin who are responsible to the managing director and the board. Yeah.
Mohammed Hassan, Yobe South. Mr. Chairman, I observed that we have not defined the qualifications of these executive directors. No, I've gone through now.
We'll go, that's when we get to C. So can we just take this amendment as proposed? Those in favor that 10.3 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. We now go to the C that talks about qualification. So that would now be 10.3.2B. Yes? 10.3.2B will now replace 10C. 10C, can you look at 10C? Can you look at that, which is now going to be the 10.3.2B? Yes, Chairman.
So on 10C, I think there is just a correction. For the qualification, a person who possesses adequate professional qualifications, skill, and experience with a minimum of degree in civil engineering or equivalent and registered by current to practice as engineer not less than 10 years. We agreed for 10 years before, now it's around 15 years, so it should be 10 years, sir. Not 15. Yes, sir.
Chairman, so just a second. Huh? So this C now, all you're meaning there is 10 years, is it? Okay, what happens for the ED finance and admin?
You want to add the word? You want to say something? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. President, you remember at the time I spoke, I told you about 10C. If you look at what we've agreed in page 9, if you look at page 9, we had said members of the board. And executive directors are members of the board. You remember we removed other than. So it covers. And if you look at the plethora, the composition, you have engineering, you have law, you have finance, you have accountancy, you have economics. So what I'm saying is that when they're appointing, you have this professional specified. If it's for finance, you appoint somebody who is an accountant. If it's for engineering, you appoint somebody who is an engineer. That was what I was, if you look at it, you'll see there. And it said all members of the board, which includes the MD, the ED, and non-executive members of the board. So C should be deleted actually, because it's a repetition.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
The secretary, because we are going to get to the secretary to get this issue for administration. If you look at the secretary here, well, I know, but I'm just trying to, because of our administration. If you look at the secretary here, he just said he's head of Lego and to keep records and corporate, to keep the corporate records of the authority and undertake such other functions as may be assigned to him. Now, there's going to be, because I was waiting for us to get there. If we're talking about the head of this, who is going to be the head of the secretariat, I'm coming now, we are coming. If you are going to talk about who is going to head the secretariat, and you are talking of admin, that's the issue. Because there's, wait, excuse me, you cannot be secretary of a board or an authority. You cannot be secretary to keep only records. You cannot make him.
Distinguished colleagues, I think the question really is that is C still necessary? Okay, Senator Sabi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues. Aliu Sabi. The issue is this. As a good practice, most boards tend to have somebody who is specifically appointed as secretary of the board and legal advisor. No. So the point is this. I'm coming. We are talking about executive director, finance, and account. Now, there are staff of the authority. And because of that, when you have an ED, finance and account, he is now the overall person in charge of the personnel and then the issue of finance. But matters of the board in terms of what board meetings are is actually done by the admin secretary. That's it. It's a standard.
Distinguished colleagues, we're not there. Where we are now is whether, so let me just put the question, then you can just knock it out. Those in favor that 10.3C stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Clause 11. Clause 11. Can you go through clause 11 so I can put the question? On the right hand side. Yes, Senator Manja.
Mr. Chairman, that is removal of the managing director, sir. Am I correct? If you get to clause 11, 1A, you look at it here, of course, as usual. Somebody who has demonstrated inability to effectively perform the duties, I think it is too vague. Yes, I think it's just too vague.
Yes, propose something.
First, the A should be redrafted to read, the managing director or an executive director may be suspended or removed from office by the president for A, inability to perform the function of his office. Leave it that way. B, has been absent from 5 conservative meetings. It's okay. But C, is guilty of serious misconduct. Sir, in law, there is nothing like serious misconduct. It has not been defined. So what we do is we put gross. Yes, sir. Then E, sir. E says, is incapable of carrying out the function of his office, either arising from infirmity of mind or body. No. The proper thing should be, is incapable of carrying out the function of his office, either arising from infirmity, disease of the mind, or body. Yes, sir. In law, sir, we have idiocy, we have diminished responsibility. And yes, sir. So infirmity of mind, no, it's not. It's disease of the mind. Infirmity is different from disease of the mind, and disease of the mind is different from idiocy, and idiocy is different from diminished responsibility in law.
Distinguished colleagues, clause 11A. Those in favor of 11A as amended, that is to read that the managing director or executive may be suspended or removed from office by the president for inability to perform the duties of his office. Inability to perform the functions of his office. Those in favor of 11A as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clause 11(1)B stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that 11C as amended is guilty of gross misconduct in relation of his duties stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Those in favor that 11D 1D stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that 11E as amended is capable of carrying out the functions of his office either arising from disease of the mind or of the body. Those in favor of 11E stands part of the bill say as amended stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Clause 2. Clause 11(2). Your observations, Senator Peter.
Yes, sir. Sir, if we using function, we continue with the word function. Like C, is guilty of serious misconduct in the relation to his function.
Secretary, please take note where the duties are, you replace it with functions, we are using functions. Right, 11(2). Your observations, Senator.
Well, Mr. President, sir, in as much as we had already taken the decision of this thing, I think we better revisit this E, because currently the all sense of responsibility, the MD of FERMA is a person who is relatively incapacitated. Now, for us to now come and expunge that particular provision completely, or retained it, but the amendment that was rejected. Okay, thank you, sir.